I'm sure you've heard the news, but have you ever heard of the Sodder children? This is a story that has puzzled investigators, haunted a family, and intrigued true crime enthusiasts for decades. It's a tale that begins on a cold Christmas morning in 1945 in the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia. On Christmas morning in 1945, Jenny Sodder answered a call that would change her life forever. The Sodder family, consisting of George, Jenny and their 10 children, were well known in their community. George was a hard-working businessman and Jenny was a devoted mother. They lived in a 2-story timber house which was always bustling with the energy of their large family. At 12:30 a.m., Jenny trudged down the stairs to answer the phone. She was surprised to hear the phone ringing at such an odd hour. As she picked up the receiver, she heard a woman's voice on the other end. The woman asked for someone Jenny didn't know. Jenny informed her that she had the wrong number, but the woman simply laughed. A strange, unsettling laugh that sent chills down Jenny's spine. A wrong number, she thought, but the laugh on the other end was unsettling. It was a laugh that seemed to carry a hidden meaning, a sinister undertone that Jenny couldn't quite place. She hung up the phone, feeling a sense of unease that she couldn't shake off. She shrugged it off and went back to bed. She tried to convince herself that it was just a prank call, nothing more. But as she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, she couldn't help but feel that something was terribly wrong. The house was quiet, but Jenny couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, her mind racing with thoughts of the strange phone call. She got up to check on her children, who were all supposed to be in bed. But when she went to the living room, she found that the lights were still on, and the door was unlocked. But something else was off. The house felt different, as if it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. 5 of her children had stayed up late, promising to lock the doors and turn off the lights. They hadn't. Annoying? Yes. Haunting? Absolutely. Jenny turned off the lights, locked the door and went back to bed. But the sense of unease lingered. An hour later, Jenny awoke to chaos. She was jolted awake by the sound of something hitting the roof, followed by a rolling noise. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding. She listened for a moment, but when she didn't hear anything else, she tried to go back to sleep. Smoke was thick in the air. Jenny jumped out of bed and ran to the hallway, where she saw flames licking at the walls. She screamed for her husband George, who quickly sprang into action. She and her husband George scrambled to save their children. 4 escaped. 5 did not. The fire spread rapidly, engulfing the house in a matter of minutes. George and Jenny managed to get 4 of their children out, but the other 5 were trapped inside. As the house burned, strange events unfolded. George tried to re-enter the house to save his children, but the staircase was already engulfed in flames. He ran outside to get a ladder, but the ladder was missing. He tried to start his truck to drive to the nearest fire station, but the truck wouldn't start. It was as if everything was conspiring against them. The fire was so intense, they said, it left no remains. The fire department, which was understaffed due to the war, didn't arrive until the next morning. By then, the house was reduced to ashes. The fire chief told the Sodders that the fire was so hot it had completely incinerated the bodies of the 5 children. Doubts began to creep in. How could a fire leave no trace of 5 children? The Sodders couldn't believe that their children had been completely consumed by the flames. They began to suspect that something more sinister was at play. How could a fire leave no trace of 5 children? The Sodders began to question the official story. They hired a private investigator to look into the case, and he uncovered several suspicious details. For one, the wiring in the house had been inspected just a few months before the fire and was found to be in good condition. Additionally, a witness came forward to say that he had seen a man at the scene of the fire carrying a block and tackle, which could have been used to remove the ladder. Weeks turned into months, and questions outpaced answers. The Sodders put up billboards and offered a reward for information about their missing children. They received numerous tips and sightings, but none of them led to any concrete answers. What really happened to the Sodder children? The Sodders never gave up hope that their children were still alive. They believed that their children had been kidnapped and that the fire was set to cover up the crime. They spent the rest of their lives searching for answers, but they never found them. 7 decades later, It remains one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. The case of the Sodder children has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and articles. It continues to captivate the public's imagination and remains a topic of debate among true crime enthusiasts. The mystery of the Sodder children is a haunting reminder of how fragile life can be and how quickly everything can change. It's a story of a family's love and determination, and of a mystery that may never be solved. Stay tuned for more true crime mysteries.